All right, now this is part two. This is how to add the drums. So now we're going to get right into it. So for me, always with the drums, I'm normally on my preset like I am right now. So my preset automatically has my claps in there already. And then it has my kick, my 808, and my clap. But had to go in and add the root note of the melody. So like when you do your own melody, that's like the good thing about it. You know the root note of the 808 or the bass of your melody. So I already put it up on there when I was making the beat in my last video. I already did that just to gauge like how good the drums would be knocking as I'm making the melody. But now we're about to actually get in nitty gritty and add some more extra bounce to it. Oh, let me bring it back up. Silly me. And always turn your velocity of your 808s up. And what I just did right there was because when you select a note on FL, it literally makes you copy and paste, like plant that note anywhere you click. So like we don't want these big notes. For me personally, I don't like when I'm placing down my 808s like that. That's just a personal thing. You'll find your own workflow. You don't have to lay your 808s down like this. It's all preference. Just do what works best for you. But this is what works best for me. All right. So I like my 808s to be really small, just like this, because then when you go back to the channel rack, you can still see them, right? And you can understand where they're lining up with the clap and how much it's clogging up your beat if you start overdoing it with your 808s. That's what, because I always like to have a visual representation of what I'm hearing, because sometimes I can see it better than I can hear it, right? So like that's why I always like to place my 808s down like with the little line like this, so it's easy to see both aspects of what I'm doing, right? So then after I'll lay down my melody, then I'll hit Control L and I'll extend out the notes. But that's only then when I know that I'm not going to change the way that the 808s are bouncing. All right, but now let's get back into laying down our bounce. Like, and what I'm doing right now for the 808s, I just kind of realized I wasn't talking about it. So literally for the 808s, what I do is I'm just chasing after what I hear. Like I hear doom 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 doo 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 doom. Like I'm just chasing whatever sounds good to me in the moment. Like that's literally what I'm doing. I know I didn't talk on my fault, but it's all like I'd be so locked in when I'm cooking the beat, bro. So like it just be hard for me to really explain. I'm trying to get better at this, right? So that's why we're making these videos, right? So boom, when you laying down your 808 roll, just chase after what you're hearing. It's literally not no different from the melody, right? So boom, lay down your 808, boom, 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 boom. Like I missed a note there. I missed a note on what I was hearing. So now we got to go back in and plug it in, and I'll remove this because I haven't heard that far yet. Delete that. Boom, 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 boom. So I hear boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. All right, run it back from the top. Boom, 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 boom. I gotta put the boom boom in there. Boom 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And then I can just loop it back. Loop it back together. And then we got our 808s. Just like this. Okay, now I can put the hi-hats in there. So I'm gonna go to my go-to hi-hats. And I'm gonna fill them in. I'm gonna right click on them and click fill them in every 2-step. All I did was to the main reason why I just had to fill them in each 2-step right there and just listen to it was because we wanted to make sure that the bounce wasn't too clouded. You don't want the 808 to be too clouded and too like too much rolls and shit, because then a nigga not going to rap on that beat all the time. It's a select few rappers that do that shit, you know what I'm saying? But not all rappers is always rapping on beats with a lot of rolls. You know what I'm saying? Like that used to be like Lil Baby beats. Like his old beats have a lot of 808 rolls, but like now he's kind of crafting a new sound a little bit within his production, if you really listen to it. But that's the reason why we just like listen back to it though, just to see if it was too clouded, and it's not too clouded. But now we got to add the open hats, so that because the open hats are really going to tell us if they're too clouded. And we're still not even done because we haven't even went into our hi-hats and added rolls and stuff, and I'm going to teach you how to do that too. So 1 second now, let's just focus on the open hats. And this is what I like to do for my open hats. I like to add this bounce. You go like shh. So that's what I just did right there. I don't even need to hear the sound. I've done it so much, I know what it sounds like. Just like that. And then I right click at the top of the bar and I just hover over that and I copy and paste it and I just click Control B, Control B, Control B, Control B, Control B. I just did have to double check it though, just to make sure it was sounding exactly how I wanted it to sound, because I had to tweak the velocity notes down there to make sure it had the extra bounce in there. So now let's listen to it. Okay, that's how I want it to sound. Now we can finish off our hi-hats now. So I'm gonna delete it all the way back to the first bar about roughly. And then we're gonna bring this note volume down, this one down, this one down, this one down, and maybe this one down just to style on them. Okay, now we're gonna click this velocity of the note and copy the value over and just see how that sounds. Click play. And also make sure your grid view is either in a step or it's in 1/6, because honestly I would say either 1/6 or 1/3 when you're laying down your hi-hats. But in the beginning stages, honestly just work within a step, just to get used to hi-hats and how they function. And then the more that you get used to doing your hi-hat rolls and shit, then move up to a step in the third. Because that shit was really complicated for me in the beginning, but I'm still going to explain how this shit works and why it's important to work in a step in the third. I haven't actually done it in the fourth yet. I actually want to try that, to be honest. Like lay my hi-hat rolls down in the fourth, because I don't know what it would sound like. The triplet rolls sounded always punch, especially on this lower BPM. I guess I'll try it at a later date. I don't want to really experiment with that right now. So we're gonna try it with the 1/6. But let's listen back to how these hi-hats sound again. I think I want this velocity note to come down a little bit right here. Yep, I like it how it sounds right there. So we're gonna copy and paste those over. And then I just removed the other note that was right here when I copied and pasted, because I don't want it to be too repetitive. And then right here, the reason why I'm adding these notes is because I'm just adding rolls right now just to see how it sounds. I'm just placing rolls down to see how it sounds. And typically you want, like, for me, I always place my rolls like on like the fourth. I don't know how to explain it, but like the fourth note in the in the ending of the bar, right? So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you always want it to end on the four, like one on the count, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You see what I'm saying? So like you always want it to end in that fourth bar going into the next one, because it'll add more bounce and punch. Just like that. And then we copy and paste that over, right? And then we erase some of these. Like, just hold on. Let's drag this down, actually, because we want to add variation in the pitch and stuff. So we're going to drag this down. And then we're going to drag this down. And this down. And listen. Like, I like how that sounds. Now what I just did right there was to bring the velocity down on these rolls, because you don't want them to be hella in your ear when you're listening to the beat, or when the rapper's listening to the beat, or when anybody listening to the beat or the song. You don't want those rolls to be all in your ear. So you bring those down, and then we're gonna make them roll up and be really like more like soft textures. So we're gonna, to do that, what I just did there to make that roll, all you got to do is hold your right click and then drag it across. So we're going to do it again right here. Hold your right click, drag it across. Boom. Just like that. We're going to do it again one more time. Hold your right click and drag it across. Boom. We're going to do it one more time. Hold your right click, drag it across, drag it across. With these, I'm going to do it backwards. Drag it down. I'm going to start from the bottom. Boom. Bam. I'm going to hit Control B to copy and paste the rest of them over. There we go. And that's how you make a beat right there. You know what I'm saying? Now that's how you lay your drums down. That is for part 2. If you like this video up until this point, please like and subscribe. For part 3, I'm going to try to get my best gems out here. You know what I'm saying? If there's any gems that I don't say in this video that you need help on, please like and subscribe. And also comment in the description. That's what I was really trying to say. Comment in the description so I can, you know what I'm saying, get to those gems and really get what gets you help for what you're really trying to tap into. Because I'm gonna be making videos, like more educational videos. But you know what I'm saying, I'm just doing what I think is best. But if there's something that I miss in these videos, go ahead, tap in the comments and I'll make it. All right. But on to part 3. Be on the lookout.